So I'm here with the UN REDD team, who've temporarily located to Hanoi to run the FPIC workshop, the Free, Prior and Informed Consent workshop, as part of the whole UN REDD process. The workshop happened a few days before the Katoomba meeting, which kicks off tomorrow, and I'm going to get these guys to introduce themselves.
My name's Tim Boyle. I'm Regional Coordinator of the UN REDD program for UNDP based in Bangkok.
My name is Nina Kachemba. I'm with the UN REDD program in New York.
My name is Elspeth Halverson. I'm with the UN REDD program in New York, working on issues of stakeholder engagement.
Great, and guys, if you could just give us a quick introduction to UN REDD, an overview.
Leave that to you.
Okay, so UN REDD is a collaborative program involving 3 UN agencies, which are FAO, UNDP and UNEP. And our role is basically to help developing countries to prepare themselves for participation in the REDD mechanism. So we do this through 2 main components of the program. At the global level, we look at some key issues such as monitoring, reporting, verification, such as engagement with stakeholder groups and so on. And then we also undertake a number of country programs, initially in 9 pilot countries around the world, but in the last 6 months or so the program's been expanding, and now we have something like 25 member countries around the world.
Great intro. Apologies for the background noise, viewers. Speak up, participants. And does somebody want to give us an introduction to FPIC as a concept and the workshop that you guys have been running while you've been here?
Sure, I'll do my best. I think to back up first and say that our FPIC work is part of the larger body of work we're doing around stakeholder engagement for the UN REDD program. And that's to ensure that local communities and indigenous peoples are fully engaged in the UN REDD program, both at the international level, in the policy board and governance of the UN REDD program, as well as at the national level, so that they're informed and actively involved in the development of the UN REDD national programs. We're operating in 9 pilot countries. Now, part of our approach to stakeholder engagement has been the development of the operational guidance on the engagement of indigenous peoples and other forest-dependent communities, of which Nina has a copy. It was developed by a participatory process and is based on existing UN policies and UN declarations, including the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And the principle of free, prior, and informed consent is firmly enshrined in the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And we've made a commitment as a UN body and a partnership of UN agencies to support the implementation of the Declaration and to support the implementation of free, prior, and informed consent in our program activities. Now, this is a fairly new body of work. The Declaration was signed in 2007, but I don't know how many countries were present at the time, by the majority of countries signed on to the Declaration. And thus, there is not a lot of a body of experience of how you actually implement free, prior, and informed consent. There's some from the extractive industries and in the forest sector, but with regards to REDD, it is a new area, and we have been asked by both the policy board of the UN REDD program, as well as by the stakeholders who have been actively involved, that's indigenous peoples, civil society, to articulate how we will apply FPIC to the UN REDD program.
So that's been the purpose of your workshop here, which it sounds very rewarding, but equally very challenging. I mean, a really interesting time was had by all, by the sound of it. Just run us through how the workshop worked out.
So I'll say a few words. So the workshop took place over 3 days, and it included participants from Asia and the Pacific, including our 3 pilot countries, which are Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and Vietnam, thank you, as well as some of the new observer countries that have joined the UN REDD program, such as Bangladesh, Nepal, Laos, Cambodia, and Myanmar, thank you, yes. And addition to these indigenous people's leaders from a variety of organizations that work on REDD or free, prior, and informed consent in their countries, there were us, the UN REDD program, the UN REDD program global representation, as well as here locally UN REDD Vietnam. And there were resource organizations which also participated, such as the Center for International Environmental Law, Forest Peoples Program, RECOF, TC, the Center for Peoples and Forests, and many others. Also, there were representatives from the UNDP country offices in some of these countries around the region. So this body of participants, about 50 participants, met over 3 days to try and draft guidance as to how FPIC is to be done.
And it sounds like you had a rather challenging time, but very rewarding. I mean, what were the challenges and what was the progress made?
Well, I think the challenges were related to the fact that, as Elspeth was saying, this is a very new concept in the context of forest management, and especially in the context of REDD. So there's been very little experience in trying to actually apply FPIC, and in fact here in Vietnam the UN REDD program has been piloting FPIC in our pilot province in the Central Highlands of Vietnam. So this is really the first time it's been done in the context of REDD. So given that, you know, we had people from a range of different backgrounds, very academic backgrounds, very practical backgrounds, with therefore sort of starting from a different perspective and bringing different perspectives to the issue. So we had to try and sort of resolve these and trying to develop a common vision for all the participants in really quite a short time. So it was a challenging experience, but it was also a very exciting experience, and I think ultimately we were quite successful. By day 3 we had managed to crystallize a lot of the discussion around the key issues. I think we generated lots of good ideas, which these two ladies in particular are now going to have to take away and distill down into some initial guidance on how to do FPIC for REDD.
So that sounds like a next step. I mean, just briefly, what are the next steps, and what should people who are interested be looking for, and where should they be looking?
We should have mentioned at the beginning that this workshop is the first of 3. We are going to host similar workshops in Latin America as well as in Africa in the fall and later towards the end of the year. And so the outcomes, we are going to draft a report from this meeting that will reflect the discussion as well as the agreements that were made among working groups. And then that will be open up for discussion and sent out for comments. And then we'll take that report as an input to the next workshop in Latin America, which will probably take place in September. If you want to get involved, email any one of us.
We'll put some links to the UN REDD and relevant sites on the page where this is posted.
Or you can go to the UN REDD website, which is www.unred.org, and follow the links to the global program to stakeholder engagement.
Great, guys, thank you very much from a very incredible view and in a very noisy rooftop in central Hanoi. Very much appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.